In a second. Here we go.
In a second.
Here we go, baby. Husker Nation.
There we go. There we go. I'll just wait a second, make sure it's up here. All right. Looks like we are good to go.
Yes.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We are two average guys, and we are joined today by Yoshi Hardrick, former Husker, and glad to have him. Yoshi, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be with you guys. I'm just an average guy myself, and glad to talk some Husker football.
No, it's good to see you. You're looking good.
I'm getting ready for my season. I had a year off, body feeling better than I ever felt. Hey, I'm excited to play again, man.
There you go. Good. Yeah. So you mentioned last year. So for those of you that don't know, Yoshi is playing up in the CFL with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So how long have you been playing up in Winnipeg?
I've been in Winnipeg 6 years. I've been in Canada for 8 years now. So I've been pro for 10 now. So I did 1 year in the NFL, 1 year at arena football, and I've been in Canada ever since 2014. So it's been a ride, and I'm loving it.
Well, they love you up in Winnipeg.
Oh, man, I love them back, man. I'm glad I found the home. I bounced around, 5, 6 teams in about 6 years. Finally got a chance to stick with a team, and it's been great. My kids have lived in Canada half a year, in Nebraska half a year, so it's been great, man.
That's cool.
Good. Yeah, you got your what do they call it? The Hardrick Hop?
Hardrick Hop, man. That's when I go do my credit card leap, man. After a touchdown, barely getting in the stands. Hey, it's fun, man. It's something. After a touchdown one day, I went and jumped in the stands, and next thing you know, social media blew up. Hey, and it's Hardrick Hop now.
Man, your teammates loved it. I remember seeing how that came about and just watching. Your teammates just absolutely loved it. They're like, this guy's awesome.
If you haven't seen it, look it up on Twitter.
For those of you who haven't seen it.
For those of you that haven't seen
it. So what's it like playing in Canada compared to when you played that, 1 year in the NFL, you went to Canada? What were some of the differences that you noticed, and even going from college to pro and then to Canadian Football League?
From college to pro, the difference was the technical part of football, the understanding of football. These guys, this is a job to them. They study it like you study your kids, like you study your family, like you study for a test. Like at the time, I think football was more fun for me. It wasn't a job for me. So that was the biggest adjustment for me, learning how to study, learning how to be a pro. It was basically life or death. You can be in football one day and go on the next. So that was the biggest difference from college football. College football, hey, you get this many meals. You have to show up there. If you don't start, we'll still give you a scholarship. You still eat free. You still get education. In pro, it wasn't like that. But the biggest difference from the NFL to Canada, the yard of grace. So it's 1 yard between the offensive and defensive line. And American football, we can breathe on each other.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. And in football, every wiggle you respect in the game. So they have a yard to wiggle before you even touch them. So that was the biggest difference for me. I'm used to my DN being right there. When a ball snaps, we got to make contact right away. And now I'm playing mirror dodge with a guy for basically 5 yards, because when the snap starts, I'm taking 3 yards and he's running also. So it's a lot more mirroring with your feet and winning like that. And it's an extra guy on the field. So go from 11 to 12. And also 5 receivers can be in motion. So it's like a arena football outside. So it's made for the offense to score. And it's a fun game. You guys should check it out, man. We play on ESPN a lot in the summer, but during the winter and fall, NCAA football, the NFL takes over down here. And I'm from America, so I understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I know that we were able to watch. I think we watched the championship game. We were able to see some of your games from a couple of years ago. That was fun. It is different. If you're used to watching American football and you watch Canadian football, you can see some of those differences right away. But man, that championship game was fun.
3 downs for a first down. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, 3 downs. You get 3 downs, you make 10 yards. The goalpost is in the front of the end zone. The field's a lot bigger. It's basically like playing on a soccer field. That's how big the field is. It's a lot more wider, and the field is 120 yards instead of 100 yards. So you can have a 120-yard touchdown. So it's a lot more room to throw the ball around. You're averaging about 400 or 500 yards passing a game. We were a running team when I was there, and that was like unheard of in Canada football. So we won the championship that way, and that was great. But man, I miss American football. I got a chance to get away from Canadian football. In the NFL, man, in my season, I don't get the chance to watch the NFL like that. Like my sports center is Canadian. So I see myself. I see Canadian football. Like being at home and seeing NFL Network and being on Sports Center, it brought back all the memories when I was a kid, man. Just being a kid, you see all the sports, you see all the names, you just you're so involved in it. And that's what I appreciated from being away from football a year.
Okay, cool. And I know you just re-signed too. I mean, you signed an extension with the Blue Bombers, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm back for another year.
There you go. Good.
Cool. Perfect.
So what are you doing here? And I know you're in Lincoln right now. So what are you doing with your time right now in Lincoln?
Right now in Lincoln, I'm training and I'm training. I've been doing a little work on the side. I've started training O-linemen. I've been working speed and agility camps. But speed and agility is I'm not passionate about it like an O-line. So I've basically narrowed it down to I'm just training O-linemen now. Having O-line training sessions, just teaching them how to be better with the feet, better with the hands. We're playing football. We're not going to get out here and do things that you're not going to do in games. So I got guys running into each other. I got guys getting better and got the game slowing down for these guys. Like the game didn't slow down for me until I got to college. If I can help the game slow down to a guy who's 13, 12, 17, 18, they're going to be that much more ahead than I was. And I had a chance to play some big time football. So I'm just trying to help guys out right now.
Okay.
Obviously, it's hard for people to really tell on the video, but you are a monster of a man.
Yeah, probably can't.
And it's really fun to watch it. It is kind of interesting how you said, I guess I didn't realize that watching the CFL games that, you are off of the ball a little bit with each other. I noticed that you were really, really good on the offensive line during those games. Yeah, how big of an adjustment was that?
That was the biggest adjustment. It's all a timing thing. Like in football, I was so used to, if the ball is snapped, I'm hit right away. So I wasn't used to basically being a receiver or DB, waiting 4 to 5 seconds for my football game to actually start. And I was overstepping, I was understepping. Until you understand the timing of the yard, you're no good in Canada until you understand that. So that's why you see a lot of guys from the NFL come up and they struggle with, you can be a great DB in the NFL. Now you got a guy running at you 10 yards. He's already full speed by the time he gets to you. You're in a major disadvantage. So that was the biggest adjustment. Like it was guys smaller than me, slower than me, and anything. They were still beating me. It's just the knowledge of the game. So it takes you a while to learn the game. You're not going to come to Canada and dominate it right away. It's still good football. It's just you have to learn the game. And once you learn the little things in the game, it takes off. It's slow. It becomes football again. So now it's just football to me. I don't even notice the yard or anything. So it's been great.
Very good. So you mentioned some guys that come from the NFL to Canada. Who are some guys? Have you played with any guys that played in the NFL that came to Winnipeg, or who are some guys that you maybe played against that were in the NFL for some years?
Right now, probably the biggest guy is probably Lucky Whitehead last year. He was a Cowboys receiver.
Yep.
And he rode the bench the first 4 or 5 games, and he got it just practicing hard. His first game, I think he had 3 catches for 150 yards. The field was so big. He just had to understand the timing. He was going off sides a lot when he got there. He knew he had 10 yards to run, so he's running hard as he can, but you still have to be on side. So it's a lot of little things you have to learn. Brandon Banks up there. When I think of defensive guys, I'm mainly like special team guys, not guys that are a big name to come up there and like really play. Because money is a big difference. So you're not going to make millions or half a million, then come play for minimum 65K Canadian cash. That's the minimum. So the minimum in the NFL is almost $500,000, I think, something like that. Yeah. So it's a big difference there. So you're talking about guys who are still trying to get back in, or guys who don't want their job, who doesn't want to let the dream go. So I just can't get the big names off the top, but there's a lot of guys come every year from the camp. They were big names, or at least big names in college, and at least stuck around for a year or two, and just can't get the game. It just cannot slow down for them.
Okay. So I guess we can probably talk a little bit about Husker football.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're wearing your Husker stuff. We got our Husker stuff on every time we do a show here. I'm sporting baseball today because they've been playing real well.
They have been.
But tell us a little bit about what was it like. I mean, you played for Bo. And I know when we met you and Kenny Bell, Josh Williams, and and Brandon Kinney was at our table. And you talked about how much you guys love Bo. You love playing for Bo. Tell us a little bit about what it was like in the locker room on the field with him. What did you enjoy most about that?
What I enjoy most about Bo is he was a father figure to me. See, I don't want to get emotional, but Bo, like a lot of us, we didn't have dads, or we had that missing not father figure in our life. And Bo was that. Bo was that for me and the guys that was in my circle. So Bo was like the first guy who was hard on me, told me the truth, but at the end of the day, I'd never tell a man tell me he loved me, but at the end of the day, he'll tell me the truth and still tell me he loved me. It was just a relationship. It was just the way I trust him, the way he backed us. And I don't know, man. I know the word culture didn't go around and things like that wasn't said, but I think that the culture he created, and he never talked about culture. We never heard that, but being away from football, you hear culture a lot. So when I think about the culture when we was there, it was just a tight-knit group. Bo had our back. Everything was in the house. And he was there for us, man, for our families, for everything. Like Bo had a real relationship with us, and that's what I needed. I think it was more than football. Bo was just a father to me, and still is. I don't know. I don't want to get emotional. Bo was just a father to me, man. He still is.
Man, it's just amazing. Like you hear how much, all the stuff off the field that people just griped on him about. But I know people we've talked to, including that night we met you, everyone said the same thing. He was a player's coach. And I think Scott's kind of that way too. I think Scott's a player's coach. He's different than Bo, of course, but have you had the experience? Have you met Scott before, and any experience with him?
Yes, I love Scott Frost. Before COVID hit, I worked out at Nebraska 3 to 5 days a week. So you run into him once or twice. My kids take pictures with him. He always say hi. He always come on the field. If you see me out there working out, say what's up. The sprint staff, everyone's there is great, man. If the vibe I get when I go to the stadium is the same vibe that we had when we was there. Guys are staying extra, guys are having fun. The locker room is thumping. When I say anytime you see the guys working out on the field, or it just gives you the juice. Like when I'm there working out and I see them working out, like I'm gonna stay extra. The guys are going so hard, you can hear the energy, and that's the things I remember when I was there. And Scott Frost, he's definitely got to be a player coach. You can hear, you can feel it, you can smell it, man. Scott Frost is a player coach. Like I love Scott Frost. I love that. You can feel it, man. It's about to happen, man. He's getting it the way he wanted, man. I don't want to be one of those guys, but I see the potential starting to make its way towards the results. So we're gonna get there, man. I still got faith in. I'm in Nebraska until I die. Like it doesn't matter. Like yeah. I don't care who we playing, what we're playing, what sport it is. If you tell me Nebraska is playing, I'm enemies who get whoever we're going against.
There you go.
I'm right there with you.
Well, if your kids are ever not available to go with you, we'll be your kids for a little while, and you can take us with you, and we'll go meet Scott too. So
yeah,
we'll be your kids for a little while.
Man, Scott's great, man. You can feel the vibe when he's around. He's always making sure you're welcome, and that's great, man. To be able to. I played in Nebraska 10 years ago, and I still can go run at the stadium. Like I haven't been in a weight room since COVID, but I still go hit the stadiums. I still go hit the stadium stairs. And my last year was 2011, it's 2021, and just that relationship to be a Husker, man. When I was there, seeing the old guys come back, most of the championship guys were like retired or old then, but just to see those guys walk through, I just know that feeling, and I hope guys probably don't even know who I am, but I hope they get that feeling when I walk around them, man.
Yeah, well, good.
So how much are you able to, or have been able to, during the last, during the Frost era, I guess, able to keep up with the team regularly? You know what I mean? I know you said that, when you're watching Sports Center, it's Canadian Sports Center. Are you able to follow the team as much as normal, or, what are you kind of seeing?
If anything, I can keep up with the Huskers. Follow probably more than 50 Husker accounts probably on Twitter. So my life, I'm in Canada, but my life is just red. My entire social media feed is red. So I'm still keeping up with the Huskers, still been watching everything close. I don't know the names as well, but when I'm watching the game, I know what I'm looking at. And I'm starting to learn the names a little bit more. I'm starting to learn it better. And it's just great to just keep up, man. If anything, man, when I get something Husker feed, man, it just slows my day down that much more to get down and read a little bit more. Even though I'm on my phone, I'm still reading, so I feel great about it.
So, you talk about kind of where we're at now as a Husker team and what we've seen over the years since you've been gone. We've seen some struggling teams. We've seen some good things. We've seen a lot of bad things. But what's your impression of the offensive line and some of the improvements they've been able to make over just the last couple of years that are pretty noticeable? But we've also seen some things where maybe they're not doing so well. What are some things that you've liked and not liked about what you've seen?
I love that the young guys are showing us that they can get out there and play. I love that the guys love Coach Austin. You have to be able to love a coach that you're playing with. You can see the guys getting better every year. I love that you can see the guys get better. I love that when the game slows down for me, because I play the game of O-line, I see the small things. I see the kick-out blocks. I see the center pulling and Adrian Martinez running free. I see the right tackle who's never played or a freshman who made the last second block. Like, I see it all. I see the growing pains also, but they have to be out there in the field. That's the only way you get better is playing. So I'm not hard on the guys. I've been out there. I was here for 2 years, only got a chance to start one. So I can't say too much about anybody's college career, but from where I'm looking at, man, the guys getting better, and that's what you want. They're strong. You can see it, man, when they do the weightlifting videos. You're excited, man. They're old linemen that you're seeing on these videos. You're seeing 700-800 pounds move around. Like, I'm starting to see it translate, man. We're starting to run the ball. Just from my perspective, I love it. We're running downhill a lot more, but I'm not there, and I support the Husker. I don't care if they drop back and throw Hail Mary play. I still watch every game, so I'm going to keep it just like that.
There you go. My brother's got a question real quick. He wants to know, what do you miss most about Lincoln, just in general, the Lincoln, the city? What do you miss most?
I mean, he does live there, but
well, yeah, but
when
when you're not there,
and during Husker season, I guess.
During Husker season, I'll start from what I miss most about playing as a Husker. Just going to school, going out to eat. Everything was about Husker. No matter who we played, how small or how big the games was, the fans had the stats. They had something in this game that when you were in class, the teacher was always like, oh, after this test, good luck, guys. The guys sitting behind you in class, they're telling you about the game. So everything was big time football when I was here. And it was everything that I wanted. Like when I was getting recruited, when I played NCAA football game growing up, I experienced that here. Like I was in that. I got a chance to sit in classes with 100 people, and they all got red on. And your teacher telling you good luck this weekend. And it's a big one this week. It's all over ESPN. Every article you read, and just being in Lincoln in general, man, just good, honest, hardworking people, blue collar. Like, it feels good to be in Lincoln. You know, you're going to be around some people who got your best interests. I feel like I'm always in a good place when I'm in Lincoln. And, you know, you can go around the world, you can go a lot of places and you don't feel that. And that's why Lincoln is still home for me. I got so many people I can lean on. Sometimes you don't even know your neighbor, but you speak to them every day. But if I need to go over there and knock on the door, I'm comfortable with that, and I like that.
That's really cool.
Where are you originally from?
Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi, yeah. So I'm sorry for anybody who probably can't understand me. I'm from the swamp, man. I'm from Mississippi. Okay. I've been gone for 10 years, so I've been here ever since, man. I can't complain.
What was your recruiting process like?
My recruiting process. So I went to junior college right after high school, and kind of got a name for myself, committed to LSU. When I committed to LSU, I shut my recruiting process down. But I had a teammate at my first year in junior college, Brandon Kenny, who went to Nebraska. He wouldn't leave me alone. He wouldn't leave me and Levante David alone, and Stanley Jean-Baptiste. We were all three there together. He was recruiting us harder than Nebraska was recruiting us. Like before Nebraska even started recruiting us, Brandon Kenny was recruiting us. And I can tell people this anytime. If you get somebody to a visit to Nebraska probably just make their top 10, or they might just make that flip. And he got me here on a visit, and the rest was history. I got here on my visit from the Husker Hotel to the elevators to the tunnel walk to before the game to the crowd. It was just too much. I wasn't leaving without going to Nebraska. I was an LSU commit for 2 years, and coming down the tunnel walk, like crying. I'm crying, probably didn't come out, but I was crying because like I'm not going to LSU anymore. I knew right then when it came down the tunnel walk that I was going to Nebraska. And me and Levante David, we got back to our dorms in junior college. And he just texted me, asked me when I was in my room. He came to my room. He said, "Are you ready to go talk to Coach Sims?" And when he said that, I knew what he meant. I said, "We're going to commit then." And we went to commit to Nebraska that day, Levante, and the rest is history, man. I tell anybody, get people to Nebraska visit, get the stadium sold out, have Lincoln buzzing, and we come out with a win. I came to the Oklahoma game in 2009. It was a night game. They won 10-7.
Okay. Wow.
It was I seen nothing like it. It was a night game in Lincoln. The crowd was electric. Sue had a game. Larry Shanti had a game. Roy Lou had a game. I think his name was Matt O'Hannon, number 33. Like okay. I didn't know much about the Huskers at the time, but he had a couple of interceptions, and I was hooked. It was nothing else I needed to see. Bo really didn't have to say anything to me, but I told him I was still committed to LSU when I left. But I knew I was coming to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And we flipped the next day. I think we got back to the dorms in junior college, came to the room, and I've been a Husker ever since.
That's a great. That's just really like with Brandon Kinney, you're recruiting multiple guys. I mean, Jean Baptiste. I mean, Stanley Baptiste. He was awesome. Like he was such a good player too. Obviously, everyone knows Levante David, a hell of a good player too. I didn't even know you guys all went to the same school, JUCO. So that's pretty awesome. But obviously, we love Brandon. We still keep in touch with him. So
yeah, just text Brandon the other day.
Yeah, gotta give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, that's a really cool story. See, this is why we like to have these conversations.
Brandon. Yeah, man. Brandon Kinney, he did his job. He got in, did the homework. He knew we liked. We were simple guys. We were from junior college. You know, all we wanted to eat probably was McDonald's. We didn't know anything about steak and things then, and he just catered to us. He had it all laid out to us. It was like a booby trap or something. We were coming to Nebraska. Well, he knew once he got us here, we was coming. But the best decision I ever made in my life. Still here. My wife ran track in Nebraska.
Okay.
My kids are they're Nebraska crazy like I am. I'm Nebraska crazy. I don't know. I know how it feels now. When I was a player, I couldn't understand why the fans act like this. I couldn't even understand it. Now I'm like, how are you a fan and don't act like this? Yeah. Now that's where I'm at with it now. But man, I'm just glad we're all one big team in Nebraska. We're here for the highs, we're here for the lows, but at the end of the day, we all throw the bones together, so that's good.
That's awesome. So a couple more questions. So just kind of staying on the recruiting trail. So what advice would you give recruits about coming to Nebraska versus staying somewhere maybe in the South that they're getting recruited to?
Change your environment. Change your environment. That's the biggest thing. Get away from being comfortable and meet a new comfortable. I wasn't comfortable leaving. I wasn't comfortable when I first got to Lincoln, but I had no reason to be uncomfortable. Lincoln gave me every reason not to be. They gave me every reason to be comfortable when I got here, and just the elbows you're gonna rub, man. I've been to 9-10 teams now, played in 3 different leagues. Everywhere I go, I meet somebody who graduated at Nebraska. They own this. They work for somebody else who went to Nebraska. I've been in Utah, Florida, California. I've been in 3 teams in Canada, and all these groups have Canadians for Nebraska, Winnipeggers for Nebraska, Colorado's for Nebraska, Utah for Nebraska, Florida's for Nebraska. Like, it just never stopped. The elbows you're gonna rub and the relationships you're gonna build and the support you're gonna have. You always can be able to lean on a Husker, even just a guy from the state of Nebraska. You don't even have to be a Husker. Like, it's different than Nebraska pride, like the Cornhusker pride, I say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I lived in Texas for a couple of years, and there was like 3 alumni bars there, and what they did was they did fundraising to send people from Texas to Nebraska for scholarships. Yes. And so one was like a Buffalo Wild Wings, and the other one was like a dive bar, and like so they're different, but Huskers everywhere. First weekend I moved down there, went to Buffalo Wild Wings, all red, had no idea what we were getting into, and I'm like, I'm home. Like, this is great.
Yes, that's the feeling I get when I go around. Just being in Canada and US, I feel like I'm surrounded by Huskers and I'm one of them, and that's the best feeling. Like, you're a Husker. It doesn't matter where you from, where you've been, anything. You have Nebraska ties. That holds weight.
All right, next question.
Sure. Yeah, we had somebody write in here. How was the environment change moving up north, coming from Mississippi?
The environment change. I say the biggest difference was getting used to the cold. I say when I got here, I came on a visit in November of that year, and it was still good weather, I think. I don't even think I had a jacket on my visit. It was just a good night game. It was just dark. And I got out of junior college early. So I got here in January, just after that November. And I think it snowed from probably that February until spring break that year. I think we got a spring game canceled for snow one year or something like that. And that was the biggest adjustment for me. And just me, I'm from being a small town guy from 300 people, trailer park. Like, I got funny stories coming to Nebraska. Like, I got my car towed all the time. I didn't know why. It was a parking meter. I had never seen a parking meter before. What is that thing? So I kept getting my car towed for that. I had never seen a crosswalk before. We had one red light where I'm from, and that's just right before you hit the big highway. So it was just a big difference from being a small town. But when guys got here and they said Lincoln was small, if they was from the Florida, the Texas, or the California, I couldn't understand it. But a lot of guys like me, Alfonso Denard, and a couple guys from small town in the South, like, that's why we still live here. That's why Lincoln is the world to me. When I first got to Lincoln, it was New York to me, and it still is. Because if I go back home, it's still like nothing against it. I'm just from a trailer park. This is way different from a trailer park.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my biggest adjustment was coming from the country, I say the country to the city.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Hey, hopefully you never had to pay too much to get your car back.
No, I never had to pay too much. After getting it towed twice and understanding what was going on, it should have took me once. But I think I got it told maybe 2 or 3 times. You know, being a student at Nebraska, you try to get away with a couple of things and you'll get it told on you. So, Hey, it happens.
So we got a buddy on here who said that his brother-in-law was a coach at Fort Scott. And you'll probably remember him, Justin, I'm guessing Iske.
Yeah, Justin, Coach Hiskey. Love him. He was all in your face. He was very black and white, no gray area. And you're 18-year-old, think you know the world. It was exactly what we needed. He'll shake you up. He'll tell you what you wanted. If I could see him now, I'd probably give him a big hug, man. Junior college, just coming from Mississippi and never losing a game in high school football. We was always ranked. And just thinking I was a lot better than I was, and got to junior college, and first person I had to go against was Jason Pierre-Paul. He went to my junior college also. Jeez. So Coach Hiskey he got me ready for us being an O-lineman. I was just an athlete. I was just a big athlete. I could run. I was strong and things like that. I didn't know any techniques, so I thank Coach Hiskey for that.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, his brother-in-law. Well, we went to high school with his brother-in-law.
Yeah. He's a regular follower.
He's a regular fan of ours. So. Well, that's cool. So Jason Pierre-Paul at Fort Scott is just pushing out a bunch of athletes. Yeah. Holy cow. I mean, that's 2 Super Bowl champs that we've talked about already that just won with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Anybody else from Fort Scott that we need to know about that maybe we didn't know before?
If you guys kept on recruiting Jason Pierre-Paul and Jaquan Williams, he ended up going to South Florida to play with the Giants a couple of years. We had all those guys. We was trying to get them here to Nebraska. We was trying to get Jason Pierre-Paul and Brandon Kenny together, and we came a year after them. But we had a lot of guys just go D1. I think I was there for 2 years, and we sent 81 guys to sign D1 in 2 years, and we didn't even have 81 guys on the roster. These are guys who read. Like Stanley Jean-Baptiste didn't play at Fort Scott. He came here and played 4 years. He got redshirted at Fort Scott and signed here and played 4 years. Wow. Like, he never played at Fort Scott. If you go back and look at Stanley Jean-Baptiste redshirted when he was there. He never played.
That's fine.
Bo saw his film and they came down and watched him practice. It was enough. Nobody knew anything about him. Had 0 stars, wasn't even on anything. This guy's just signed with Nebraska. Who is this? Drafted 2nd round.
Yeah. I'm glad we got him.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Nebraska needs to find their Fort Scott.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and so we talked with Tom Osborne a little while ago, and one thing that he was talking about is just kind of that recruiting pipeline and how really a big thing. Oh, and Matt Versal, I don't know if you've ever met him before, but he mentioned that the JUCO route, like, that's something Nebraska needs to get back to, is really looking at those JUCOs, whether they find them as a first-year JUCO player, second year, but they used to have just a pipeline and the same school that, hey, this kid maybe doesn't have the grades or maybe isn't quite ready for the D1 football, send them to this JUCO, and hold them there. Don't let anyone else recruit them, and we're going to come back and get them. And that's what Osborne was doing, and that's what Solich was doing. And so I hope Frost is kind of taking some of those notes and checking out the JUCOs as much as he can. So.
Yeah, I encourage it a lot. You got guys, they just missed the grades or they just needed an extra year to develop, and those guys can come in and be depth players. Some of these guys, like a lot of us didn't come in and be stars right away. You got the Randy Gregory's, you got the Levantes, you have the Damian Stafford guys who come in, and Stanley Jean, they dominate right away. They get drafted. But then I was a guy who stopped my first year and plugged in. You had a lot more guys, Zaire Andersons, and just guys, you need that depth, and guys that come in and add a little toughness, add a little grit. I wouldn't say that we don't have that or whatever, but those guys who come from JUCO, when I came to Nebraska, all I knew how to do was hit. I didn't know anything about playbook. In junior college, we ran ISO, toss, and probably passed the ball 3 times a game. I didn't know I was going to hit you, but I didn't know anything else. That's so nice. You need guys like that to kind of shake it up a little bit. You can teach them the football, but if all else fails, you got a couple loose cannons running around, and that's always good to have on the team. And yeah, that's what I remember from guys from junior college, man. Okay. We came in, we needed to be shaped up a little better. We need to be developed, but you're going to have to slow us down. You're never going to have to speed us up. And that you need guys like that.
Well, that's exactly what I remember about Levante David, and that's why he's one of my favorite Huskers ever, and Tampa Bay is my favorite team, so that also helps. But I just remember he was in on every play. You know, the short time he was at Nebraska, he was at the ball. He was just a ball hawk, and I love players like that. So yes, we need a lot more players like that.
Yes, and funny story about Levante David. He got to Fort Scott, I think, a week or two late, and Brandon Kenny, I didn't know anything about him. He was our star player at the time. Levante was at safety. It was like his first, second play in. Never said anything. We didn't know anything about him. Brandon Kenny ran a slant. Levante knocked him out. And he became Levante David. From that day forward, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything. He hit Brandon Kenny, and he became Levante David from that point on.
That's cool.
See, Brandon never told us that. He got hit by David.
Oh,
that's funny. We'll have to. I think we're gonna get him on next week, and hopefully he watches this. But we're gonna try to get him on next week, and we'll bring that up.
Yeah, it's a good one to talk about.
And we just had Dalton, who actually runs Cornhusker Nation's Facebook page, and we partner with. He said that he just remembers watching your movements on the field because he's like that big 6'7" number 50 would always just stick out, and say he's a huge fan of yours. So.
Well, thank you, man. I tried to have a lot of fun when I was in Nebraska. That's my thing. I was a little overweight. I wish I would have got together before I got pro. I got pro and got cut a couple times and got the dream took away from me. I was a little spoiled in college. Had unlimited meals at the training tables, and I was eating good. I can go play games at the stadium anytime I want. Had three coolers full of Gatorades, unlimited snacks all day. So. Yeah, my time in Nebraska, I wouldn't change anything about it, man. I had so much fun. I got a chance to play in the Big 12 one year, Big 10 one year.
Yep.
I got a chance to play in a Big 12 championship game at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Like, I can go on and on, man. The guys I played with, man. I had so many guys get drafted from the Roy Halou to the Rex to Amir to Niles to Keith Williams. I don't know, man. I can go on, man. It was a great time.
You're the rosters, like the rosters in Nebraska, you think just like 10, 12 years ago. And when you were playing and thinking how many guys transferred to the NFL, like Roy Halou played a lot of years. Now Paul played in the NFL. Obviously Dennard played in the NFL. Devontae's still there. I mean, those rosters were pretty loaded. Stanley Baptiste, I know he played. So like, it's just incredible. And I really hope we get back there. I mean, I hope Frost can build it back to, hey, we're getting first, second round draft picks every year.
That's what made me come here, man. It was Prince Amukamara, Eric Hagg, Dijon Gomes, Alfonso Denard. That was our starting secondary, all got drafted. Our linebackers were Will Compton and Levante David, both long years in the NFL. Yep. We had Jared Crick on the D-line. He got drafted also. Pierre Allen, he didn't get drafted, but he got a chance to play a couple years in the NFL. Probably missed some more guys on that D-line, but like I said, on the offense, he had a lot of guys on offense to go pro. Every running back I played with got drafted.
Yep.
Roy, Rex, and Amir got drafted. Like, so
that makes you feel pretty good.
The guys who played with me on the O-line, Jeremiah Searles, Marcel Jones, Brent Qualley. I'm talking about all guys who played 5+ years in the NFL.
Well, Searles just hung up the cleats,
and
I think Brent just hung up the cleats too. So, I mean, these guys, they just finished playing their, in the NFL after what, 8 years or so, 8-9 years. Yeah. So, yeah, we've met a few of those guys too, and they're just, I mean, they're great guys. We talked to them at the Nebraska Sports Banquet last year, Nebraska Grace Foundation Banquet last year, and so got to meet some of those guys that we hadn't met before. So that was really cool.
Yeah, man. So, man, we were loaded, man. When I think about it, you don't think about it when you're there. You're just enjoying the moment. And all you remember is, man, we lost 3 games one year, 4 games one year. After being removed from 5 to 6 years, we had, I don't know, man, we probably had 22, 30, 40 guys who got a chance to play in the NFL. At least 20 that got drafted. Like, those were some talented teams. And I was talking to Coronation John just not too long ago. That 2010 team, we lost 4 games. We lost to Texas by 7 points. I think we could have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to Texas A&M by 3 points. We lost to Oklahoma by 3 points in the Big 12 championship game. We was up 17-0. I'm talking 9, 10 points away from being in the big one. That's how talented that team was. And people will never remember that from 2010 because we lost 4 games. Because we ended up losing to Washington in the bowl game, but we beat them like 56-10 early in the season. But yeah, we lost to Texas by a touchdown. Texas A&M 9-6 in A&M. We lost to Oklahoma, 17-20, and we was up 17-0 at half. I'm talking probably 10, 12 points away from being undefeated in 2010.
Well, and didn't Martinez get hurt in that A&M game?
Yeah, Martinez got hurt. It really happened in the Texas game. Texas was the key. They showed everyone how to stop us that year. They put 2 guys on Taylor, and Taylor hurt his ankle in that game. We dropped a couple touchdowns that game. Man, we were good that year, man.
Yeah, I remember that 2010 team. I actually went out to the Holiday Bowl out in San Diego. I saw you guys out there, and I guess it was 2011 technically, or it might have been New Year's Eve. I can't remember, but I remember going to that game out in San Diego, and yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun being there. But man, Washington fans that were there, they want to start some fights. I'm like, you guys got to stop drinking. Like, you guys beat us. Yeah. Cool. We killed you in the beginning of the regular season.
In the game that mattered more.
But yeah, so it was that those teams were a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, man, I definitely miss it, man. We had some fun.
Oh, good. What else you got, Jim? So talking about again, kind of what we have now. I mean, Frost gets a lot of flack for what he says and after
or guys entering the transfer portal, which wasn't probably even that big of a thing back in your time.
I think it's just more visible now than it was when you played. What are your thoughts on transfer portal? Like you said, be okay with being uncomfortable and get out of that comfort zone to experience something different. Do you think some of these guys want that and then they get here and maybe it's just not for them?
Or they don't want to work hard to try. I mean, just throwing it out.
I'm kind of mind blown about it. I really don't know because I'm 10 years removed. But when I came in, it was so many guys who were redshirt seniors or walk-ons who became seniors. Like, I'm bringing up this culture thing again. We didn't talk about it, but the culture was set. You earn your spot. You sit 3 to 4 years, or like this is the process. Like we talked about the process. The process was said a lot here, Bo. So the process was come in, work hard, earn your way. Like I can remember Austin Cassidy when I came. I think he was senior redshirt, and I was mad when I didn't come in when I was a junior and was playing right away. And he was like, "I've been here 4 or 5 years. I'm just not getting my opportunity, and all I want to do was work hard." And like when you're not playing, you don't want to hear that. But Mike Caputo tells me the same thing. Pierre Allen tells me the same thing. Prince tells me the same thing, that he didn't play right away. Ndamukong Suh was working out with us, told me he got redshirted. Like, so you start to see it. Like, it was never a thing. It was never a transfer thing when I was there. Like, I think Cody Green left when I was only there 2 years, so I have to be fair. I think Cody Green left when I was there, and Dontravius Robinson. I think 1 or 2 guys. Other than that, man, guys was there. You wanted to stick around. Even if you wasn't playing right away, you still had a chance. You've seen so many walk-ons become starters or guys who never playing in a junior and senior year, and these guys are talking about getting drafted, and they just give you motivation. Like, okay, they're doing something right here, and I want to be a part of it. So it never crossed my mind to leave. Like, once I bought in my junior year and I found out it wasn't starting, I was like doing everything I can to start my senior year, and that was all it was about. Unfortunately, Jeremiah got hurt, and made it a little easier for me. But it was just a process. I was gonna stay and stick around, and it meant more to me. Like when I went home, people like, you go to Nebraska. When I go places and when you're not in Nebraska, you tell people where you go, and you're like, you play for the Huskers, like Nebraska Huskers. Like it just meant something else to me. We was on TV a lot.
Yep.
So real quick, we had one question here. What was your absolute favorite game that you played in?
My absolute favorite game at Nebraska, man.
Probably hard to one.
I don't know, but I'll probably go with the Missouri game, and people probably don't remember that game. Like Roy ran for like
225 yards. Yep.
Yeah, and it was thumping. They came in here. They was ranked like number 7 in the nation. I thought we was gonna get game day or something. We was ranked top 10 also. It was everything was hyped up to be, and I can just remember just running crazy. Like it was a game you wanted to play as old lineman. We didn't pass a lot. We ran the ball and it just had fun. I can just remember like just running around on the fields from sideline to sideline celebrating because Roy's breaking 80 yards. I don't have to block anybody. I'm just being a big kid out here running around. It was just so much fun.
That's awesome. Well, cool. I know we only got a couple more minutes, so I think we can kind of wrap it up. But really, just want to thank you for being here with us today. I mean, Absolutely. It's been great. It's good seeing you again. And hopefully at some point we can do this in person with you and actually get to see you again and get Brandon together, and it'd be a lot of fun. But we'll go ahead and actually stop the live show. Feel free to stay on for just a couple more minutes if you don't mind, and we'll go and end the live show.
We did have quite a few people commenting and everything, so they appreciate you coming on, and
and I appreciate it, man, too, man. I love to come see you guys, and when I'm in Canada, let's do this during the season. I love to get the Fort Scott guys together, me, Levante, and Brandon Kenny, and Stanley together, and we come see you guys.
There you go. Awesome. Man, that'd be a hell of a show. That would get a lot of people watching.
That's for sure.
Very nice. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Go ahead and stick on for a second. And then, again, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining, everybody. Again, I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
2 Average Guys. And
we'll see you next time.
Take care.